annals of Westerosi memory, where legends float like drifting embers on a midnight breeze, there is a name that glows with a quiet, unyielding fire. Daenerys Targaryen, born on a storm-lashed night upon the scorched shores of Dragonstone, an island still haunted by echoed roars of dragons long past. Her very existence was destined to be a meditative odyssey of sorrow, hope, and rebirth. In this hushed retelling, let your eyes grow heavy and your heart slow its pace as we embark on an intimate recollection of a life woven from loss and luminous promise. It began in silence, in the twilight of a dynasty ruptured by fire and madness. Daenerys arrived into a world that both feared and revered her name. Exiled and alone from the very moment of her birth, she was nurtured amidst tales of glory and ruin, a legacy of fire and blood echoing in every whispered rumor, in a realm where every heartbeat carried the weight of an extinct empire. Young Daenerys' days were measured not by courtly celebrations, but by the quiet determination of a girl whose destiny was written in ancient, forgotten runes. In them dust-laden corridors of exile, where the voices of lost generations murmured through crumbling walls, she learned to cradle her fragile hope like a tender flame. Even in the endless nights beneath the foreign skies, the sparks of her inner strength burned quietly. Every rustle of wind and every soft ripple in the darkened sea became a meditation, a reminder that even the smallest ember can kindle a radiant blaze when nurtured with care. Her early years in the free cities were not filled with regal finery, but with survival, introspection, and lessons learned from hardship. The very air that breathed around her spoke of both despair and hidden beauty. In whispered conversations with the trusted caretakers, the gentle cadence of her language began to reveal the wisdom of someone far older than her years. In these moments, Daenerys realized that true power lay not in brute force or arrogant claim, but in the quiet grace of empathy and the resolute perseverance of the heart. A fateful shift soon came when her path intertwined with a people as fierce as the blazing sun. The Dothraki, arranged into a marriage that promised both struggle and a radical rebirth. Daenerys stepped into a life of nomadic fire, a culture that revered strength, passion, and the endless open steppe. Under the vast, starlit canopy of the Dothraki Sea, she began to learn a language of both battle and tenderness. The nomads spoke in fierce declarations, yet between their booming words lay an undercurrent of living poetry, a reminder that life is eternal, even in the midst of relentless wind and dust. In the gentle rustling of tall grasses and the rhythmic beat of hooves across ancient paths, Daenerys found solace in the balance between the wild and the serene. Her heart, once guarded by exiles, chill, began to thaw under the warmth of new dreams. Dreams where a fire burning inside could light up the darkness of forgotten time. Every softly spoken word, every pause as the horizon melted into twilight, was a lesson in the art of endurance and the strength found in vulnerability. And then came that fateful night, a night when the flames of destiny danced wildly, and the chill of death was banished by the warmth of rebirth. As the pyre was lit, a radiant conflagration consumed the remnants of mourning and despair. In that transformative blaze, where pain fused with transcendent beauty, three delicate yet fierce silhouettes emerged from the flames. The dragons, born from sorrow and hope, spread their nascent wings beneath the watchful gaze of the moon. was a moment of sublime transformation. In the crackle of burning wood and the soft hiss of cooling air, Daenerys embraced a truth as bold as time itself, that from destruction, renewal is born, and within every end lies the silent seed of a new beginning. In the soft afterglow of that wondrous night, the gentle coo of distant winds and the tender murmur of a reborn legend filled the air. Daenerys, now the mother of dragons, beheld her newfound companions with a mix of awe and tender responsibility. The dragons, delicate yet potent, whispered secrets in a language older than the legends of Westeros, a language of ancient magic and quiet yearning. Each scale, each flicker of flame, became a metaphor for the fragile, luminous nature of hope. And so began the long, winding journey of a girl who was honoring her past, yet forging a destiny of her own. In the soft, uncertain light of dawn, the rising sun painted the sky with gentle hues of lavender and rose as Daenerys began her solitary quest across the vast, enigmatic lands of Essos. Her journey was edged with both beauty and sorrow, a constant dance between the night's lingering melancholy and the promise of a bright, unfolding day. With each measured step along dusty roads and each quiet pause under the shelter of ancient trees, she contemplated the duality of leadership. How might one learn to harness power without losing the tenderness that makes us human? This was the question that echoed in her mind as softly as the lapping of waves on a forgotten shore. As she traversed lands ruled by mingled oppressions and whispered hopes, Daenerys encountered a myriad of souls, each a story unto itself. In bustling port cities, with vibrant markets and quiet hamlets hidden from the world's caustic glare, she witnessed both suffering and the resilience of those who dared to dream of a better tomorrow. In one such city, under the muted glow of lanterns in a humble quarter, she gently spoke with enslaved folk whose weary eyes shone with sparks of cautious hope. With words as soft as a lullaby, she promised freedom, not as a fleeting fantasy, but as a hard-won right of every soul. In the cool, dim recesses of ancient courtyards, where time itself seemed to exhale in relief, her voice became a healing balm. "Let not sorrow chain your spirit," she would murmur in a tone that resonated deeply in the quiet. Each promise of liberation was a delicate stitch in the vast quilt of unity, a tapestry that one day might cover the wounds of centuries. Her newfound mission was more than political conquest. It was an act of gentle rebellion against cruelty and indifference, a testament to the belief that even the smallest kindness could spark a revolution of hearts. Throughout her travels, moments of solitude became as cherished as moments of fierce activity. Beneath a sky peppered with innumerable stars, Daenerys often sat in quiet meditation. In these sacred interludes, she allowed the rhythm of the night to merge with her heartbeat, finding in that syncopation an enduring reminder of her true purpose. The cool whisper of wind stirred memories of her lineage, a haunted echo of a time when dragons ruled the skies and honor flowed like molten silver. Each meditation deepened her understanding of the essence of change, unfolding within her a wisdom as subtle as butterfly wings, yet as forceful as the tides of destiny. She learned that emotional control was not about stifling the torrents of passion, but about channeling them with practiced grace. The fiery temperaments that often claimed the stage of history could be tamed with gentle resolve. They could be molded into the very instruments of healing and transformation. In the soft cadence of her reflections, Daenerys came to see that every tear shed in grief was also a droplet of hope, every lament a prelude to renewal. Her encounters with cultures both ancient and evolving filled her with insights that transcended mere conquest. Among the enigmatic free cities, she absorbed wisdom like a parched land drinks in the gentle rain, the simple humility of those who lived close to nature, the enduring kindness found in the hearts of strangers. All came together in a flowing mosaic of life lessons. She listened to the murmurs of old storytellers beneath time-worn trees and studied the silent language of the desert in every grain of sand, every rustle of ancient leaves. She discovered the poetry of existence. Yet even as she championed justice and freedom, Daenerys was not immune to the pain of betrayal, the sting of false promises, and the chill of disloyalty sometimes swept over her like an unexpected winter wind. But in those moments of darkness, she remembered the lessons learned on lonely nights, when the whisper of her own heartbeat provided solace. Be patient, she would remind herself softly. As in stillness, the seeds of tomorrow's triumph lie quietly waiting for light. And so, with renewed strength born of acceptance and understanding, she pressed on, each step measured, each breath a quiet defiance of despair. Under the endless vault of a soft, embracing sky, the Dragon Queen began to forge her destiny. Her resolve was not hardened by the fires of conquest alone. It glowed with the warmth of compassion, tinted by the hues of mercy and empathy in every gentle smile shared with a freed soul, every whispered benediction to those in torment. She sculpted a new legacy, a legacy not solely of power realized in battle or glory attained on a throne, but of a spirit that nurtured hope and inspired change, quietly, steadfastly, like the inexorable rise of the morning sun, as Daenerys' journey unfurled like a slow, meandering river through lands of both splendor and sorrow. Whispers of her deeds began to echo across distant realms. In the wake of her liberations, many hearts blossomed with new courage, while others trembled at the thought of change. But the Dragon Queen, ever mindful of the delicate balance between power and compassion, guarded her inner flame with a measured calm. The weight of destiny, far from being a burden, became an endless source of gentle wisdom. In the courts of liberated cities, and among the humble dwellings of grateful villagers, Daenerys sought to instill a simple truth, that the might of a leader is best measured not by the force of her command, but by the benevolence of her actions. During quiet nights in candlelit chambers and silent moments in cool, starlit gardens, she would speak softly of a world where justice and mercy walked hand in hand, where every soul, no matter how scarred by fate, was worthy of hope. Her heart, kindled by both past sorrow and future promise, became a beacon for those who had long been shrouded in darkness. In the bustling markets and vibrant streets of cities she had freed, the tales of her exploits mingled with soft lullabies sung at dusk. Each freed prisoner, each smiling child, was like a delicate note in an endless symphony, a song meant to soothe and inspire, even amidst the chaos of a changing world. And throughout these unfolding chapters, the dragon soared overhead, silent, Guardians whose every beat of majestic wings recalled the fragile yet indomitable spirit of their mother. Yet, along with the triumphs, came inevitable moments of introspection for the Dragon Queen. There were long, contemplative evenings when the night's cool embrace reminded her of everything lost and everything yet to be redeemed. In these reflective hours, the mingled scents of salt air and distant blossoms seemed to whisper secrets of bygone eras, tales of love, loss, and the endless cycle of renewal. Daenerys would close her eyes and let the quiet cascade over her, mindful of the truth that every end cradles the promise of a new beginning. Her reveries often wandered to the heavy mantle of her ancestry, a lineage intertwined with the kiss of dragons and the agony of exile. With each whispered prayer and each silent tear shed beneath the twinkling stars, she contemplated the duality of ambition and empathy. In the soft cadence of her meditations, she resolved that while the realm might require the strength of a conqueror, it also needed the gentle guidance of a healer. This understanding became her compass, guiding her through storms both external and inner. Slowly, as if guided by an unseen hand, the path led Daenerys ever closer to the ancient lands of her birth, a journey tinged with bittersweet longing. The emerald hills of Westeros, soft and somnolent under a twilight sky, beckoned her like a distant lullaby. Though the Iron Throne shone with an alluring promise, she came to learn that its gleam was matched by shadows of countless past miseries. In hushed moments amidst the rolling mists and the muted calls of night birds, she recognized that her quest was not merely to reclaim a vanquished lineage, but to redeem the wounded soul of an entire people. At times, the gentle cadence of her voice would rise in soft defiance against those who clung to outdated notions of power. Strength, she would whisper, is not found in dominion or cruelty, but in the quiet, persistent act of compassion. In conversations held beneath ancient oaks and by the flickering glow of hearth fires, her words imbued every breath with the promise of renewal, and as allies gathered at her side, drawn by the magnetism of her conviction, the Dragon Queen shaped a new tapestry of unity, each thread a quiet testament to the belief that once, in the union of the broken and the brave, a peaceful realm might be reborn. In the tender moments before dawn, when the world lay in soft slumber and the sky was painted in hushed hues of hope, Daenerys allowed herself to be both leader and learner, with the dragon's low, steady hum in the background and the dewy earth beneath her bare feet. She would silently ponder the meaning of true justice. Here, in the stillness of morning's first light, she understood that every choice carried the weight of lives and the glow of potential salvation. And so, with a spirit as delicate as a whispered prayer, she embraced each day, knowing that even in a realm wrought by fire and pain, kindness could sprout like tender blooms after a gentle rain. As years turned like pages in an ancient tome, and the memory of battles warred with the softness of healing, the Dragon Queen's journey grew ever more profound, a slow, measured voyage across terrains, both external and within. In quiet evenings, by secret, moonlit lakes, and in the solitude of cool, echoing ruins, Daenerys reflected on a life of contrasts. Every victory was tempered by loss, every liberated soul a reminder of the fragile balance between hope and heartache. Her eyes, deep as the night sky, bore the wisdom of one who had seen empires crumble and rebuild, had quenched the inferno of vengeance with the cool balm of forgiveness. Within her, the flame of ambition was now harmonized by the gentle cadence of acceptance. She had risen from the ashes of her family's downfall, not merely to reclaim a throne, but to embody the possibility of rebirth, a living reminder that the true nature of power lies in its ability to transform suffering into compassion. The dragons, now graceful and fiercely protective, soared high above her wherever she journeyed. They became symbols of a promise kept. That light, however obscured by darkness, would always find its path to kindle a new day. It was in these quiet moments of introspection that Daenerys discovered the true meaning of leadership, not through the clamor of war or the thunder of conquest, but in the soft-spoken assurance of guiding others toward their own inner strength. Every life saved, every injustice undone, was like a fresh star, born in the vast, dark tapestry of the night. And as she strode through lands that whispered of both ancient magic and modern hope, her legacy was etched not in violent conquest, but in the enduring compassion that flowed gently from her very soul. The gentle murmur of winds through old stone corridors, the lulling streams of winding rivers, and the soft sighs of nature's night song became the backdrop to her musings. With every step on dew-kissed grass and every glance cast upon a starlit sky, she was reminded that even the fiercest flame must one day merge with the calm of twilight. In these reflective interludes, she allowed herself the grace of fragility, recognizing that every scar was also an emblem of survival, every tear a tribute to a change wrought in the crucible of hardship. Her journey toward Westeros, an odyssey that carried the weight of destiny and the promise of renewal, was no longer just a grand quest, but a personal pilgrimage of the spirit. For Daenerys, the vision of a realm reborn lay in the simple truths discovered along winding roads and in the soft murmur of hopeful voices. May our souls be ever free, she would silently vow in those hushed moments before sleep overtook the day, a prayer that echoed like a lullaby through the corridors of her heart. And so, with the gentle radiance of a fading sun and the tender hum of night's lullaby, the Dragon Queen prepared to face the final chapters of her journey. It was a time of deep reflection, a twilight where the past, present, and future intertwined in a delicate dance of memory and anticipation. In the quiet sanctuaries of her mind, she nurtured the belief that even amidst the ruins of shattered dreams, a soft, relentless flame could one day glow again, lighting the way for generations yet unborn. Now, as your eyes grow heavy and your thoughts settle into the soothing cadence of the night, let the whispered echoes of Daenerys Targaryen's story carry you into a realm of gentle dreams. Her life, a delicate balance of fire and heart, of loss and luminous hope, reminds us that every ending is but a prelude to a tender new beginning. The legacy she left behind is not etched solely in the annals of history or in the fierce roars of dragons, but in the quiet pulse of every soul that dares to rise, to dream, and to heal. Rest now, dear listener, for in the soft corners of your slumber, the echoes of a once-lost dynasty and the warm embrace of gentle transformation await you. May the serenity of her story soothe your mind and cradle your heart, whispering to you that even amidst the fiercest storms, a single gentle flame can light the path to peace. Dream deeply as the night enfolds you like a tender cloak, and know that in every heartbeat there is the promise of a new dawn, a new chapter of hope and quiet renewal. Beneath the shimmering canopy of a midnight sky, Daenerys wandered quiet pathways once trod by her ancestors. The soft rustle of wind through ancient ruins became a lullaby to her soul, a constant reminder that even in the heart of desolation, life could bloom again. In these solitary moments of reflection, she recalled the gentle murmur of voices long, silent, echoes of lost heroes, whispered encouragement that resonated like distant music. Each step she took was measured in the language of the heart, as if the delicate beat of her pulse was guiding her toward a destiny that transcended mere conquest. In tranquil glades and along dew-dappled trails, the Dragon Queen encountered relics of her lineage, a shattered sigil here, a faded tapestry there, and yet, even in brokenness, there was an inherent beauty. These remnants told tales of passion and sacrifice, woven with threads of both anguish and wonder. Daenerys learned that every fragment of a shattered past held within it the seed of renewal. The sound of her footsteps mingled with the soft cadence of nature, crafting a ballad that promised tomorrow as gently as the dawn. Time, in its silent majesty, wore away the harsher edges of her memories. The fire that had once scorched her spirit now lent it a tempered glow. In the quiet hours before sunrise, she would sit by a meandering stream, letting the trickle of water erase the dust and scars of old battles. Wrapped in the cool embrace of early morning mist, she meditated on the balanced interplay of flame and water, a reminder that emotional control was not about denying passion, but redirecting its force into the wellspring of compassion and understanding. Her journey had transformed her from a headstrong young exile into a leader tempered by loss and nurtured by hope. With every liberated soul whose eyes shone with gratitude, and every heart that learned to beat in unison with her vision of justice, Daenerys discovered the true measure of power. It was not a dominion wrought by force or terror. It was the gentle art of inspiring change quietly, the soft strength of a whisper that could move mountains of despair. In softly spoken conversations beneath starlight, she shared with her allies that true strength lay in the union of courage and kindness, a message that resonated far deeper than loud proclamations ever could. The nights were long on those solitary roads, yet they carried a profound, almost sacred serenity, as cool breezes intertwined with the fragrance of wildflowers. Daenerys often thought of the dragons who had burst forth from her destiny's pyre. Their presence was a constant beacon, a shimmering reminder that even amidst the darkness, sparks of life could kindle a conflagration of hope. In quiet moments of communion with these gentle giants, she listened to their silent voices. Their rhythmic wing beats echoed through the night, lulling her into contemplations of legacy and the delicate interplay between destruction and rebirth. As she journeyed onward, the memories of her past, of loss, betrayal, and the bitter legacy of fire, mingled with newfound revelations. In the soft glow of twilight, she would close her eyes and remember the gentle embraces of those who had once shared her burdens. Every tear that had fallen was transformed, becoming a shimmering droplet in the vast reservoir of her wisdom. In this alchemy, sorrow was not a chain to her spirit, but the very crucible that forged her compassion. Each quiet night by the campfire, each hushed conversation with a trusted confidant, reaffirmed her belief that transformation is born in the crucible of hardship, tempered by time and nurtured by empathy. Her inner dialogue became as natural and rhythmic as the cycle of the seasons. She realized that the delicate balance between fury and tenderness was the true measure of leadership. There were moments of still introspection when every heartbeat was a tiny proclamation that even if the world around her burned with the chaos of rebellion and ruin, there remained a quiet sanctuary within, a personal citadel of resolve and tranquil hope, striving to remain anchored even as tempests of uncertainty swirled overhead. The Dragon Queen nurtured within herself an unwavering call to heal the wounds of a fractured realm. In her quiet moments of solitude, Daenerys would sometimes be visited by dreams spun from the looms of both history and destiny. In these dreams, the phantom silhouettes of dragonfire and ocean mists danced together in slow motion. Gentle voices whispered secrets of forgotten realms, lessons unspoken but deeply felt. She saw, with a clarity that only the heart can discern, the promise of a realm in which legacy was measured by the beauty of healing rather than the scars of conquest. Every dream was a soft invitation, a reminder that each day was an opportunity to rewrite history with compassion instead of cruelty, hope instead of despair. On the border between memory and waking, where the worlds of dreams and reality melded, Daenerys' soul communicated with the spirit of the land. The ancient stones beneath her feet spoke in murmurs. The wind carried stories of lost dynasties and bright futures yet to come. In these moments, she recognized that her quest was not solely to reclaim a throne, but to restore the gentle heartbeat of a people long silenced by fear. The silent poetry of the land and sky nurtured her resolve, urging her to embrace both the fierce flame of her heritage and the soft radiance of a life rebuilt on the principles of peace and renewal. It was here, amid the subtle interplay of shadow and light, that Daenerys discovered the secret to maintaining her inner balance, a harmonious dialogue between the heart's deep passions and the cool, reflective wisdom of the mind. She learned that strength could be both tender and unyielding, that love had the power to be as fierce as the dragon's fiery breath, while soothing the most battered of souls. This delicate equilibrium became the cornerstone of her rulership, a quiet revolution within that rippled outward, touching every life with the promise of gentle, transformative change. As she made her way back toward the ancient lands of Westeros, a land steeped in as much sorrow as hope, Daenerys carried with her not only the memories of exile and loss, but also the quiet strength of redemption. The horizon, bathed in the soft hues of a coming dawn, spoke of new beginnings that were as inevitable as the rising sun. With each step, she gathered not only allies and courtiers, but also the silent trust of those who believed in a future forged from the fusion of fire and tenderness. Each journey home was as much an inward pilgrimage as a return to lost lands. Along winding roads and under the serenade of crickets and nightingales, the Dragon Queen delved deeper into the nature of legacy. There were moments when the burden of her destiny felt almost too weighty, a tapestry woven with pain, loss, and the faint promise of mercy. Yet, even as shadows of the past stretched long before her, she chose to see them as gentle guides rather than dark omens. Each hardship from bygone days was matched by a soft, gleaming insight that the path to true transformation was paved with forgiveness and reconciliation. In the ruined castles and deserted keeps of Westeros, Daenerys encountered sights at once tragic and ethereal. The gentle patter of raindrops on ancient stone became a meditation in itself, each droplet a testament to nature's relentless, healing persistence. She would wander these forgotten corridors, her fingers trailing along time-worn walls, listening to the silent soliloquies of memory. In these quiet encounters with history, she recognized that every broken monument held within it the possibility of renewal. For even as the ravages of time had scarred the kingdom, the same passage of time promised gentle restoration. Word of her return had begun to spread as softly as ripples on a still pond. Those who had long lived in the margins of despair now dared to imagine a future where the old wounds could finally heal. In scattering meetings held under the forgiving glow of twilight, Daenerys invited the downtrodden and the forgotten to share their dreams of restoration. There were murmurs of unity, a soft chorus rising from the depths of exile and oppression. In these murmurs, the Dragon Queen perceived not the clamor of rebellion, but the harmonious nod of a people, ready to reclaim not only their lands, but also the dignity of their hearts. In the quiet majesty of these gatherings, Daenerys demonstrated that politics need not be brutal or discordant. It could be as gentle as a soothing lullaby. Standing before small, hopeful crowds in the courtyards of crumbling fortresses, she spoke in tones that wove both longing and gentle resolve. Let us rebuild not with the clang of iron, but with the whisper of compassion, she would say, her voice soft yet filled with unwavering certainty. It was a call for an entirely new kind of dominion, one where restoration came from within, where justice was meted out with empathy rather than fear. The local lords and weary commoners alike found solace in her words. In their eyes shone a quiet recognition that true power often lay in the art of subtle influence, in the capacity to heal wounds that no sword could sever. And so, as the first green shoots began to sprout from the once barren grounds of old battlefields, Daenerys' influence was felt not merely as the roar of a conquering queen, but as the soft murmur of a nurturing spirit. Slowly, the tapestry of a broken realm started to mend, a fragile yet promising quilt of shared dreams and gentle promises. In the reflective calm of evening, as the cooling air mingled with the soft glow of ember-like street lamps, Daenerys often retreated to quiet gardens newly sown by hands seeking rebirth. There, amid the tender fragrance of budding flowers and the murmuring sound of a nearby fountain, she engaged in deep meditation. These moments, free of the harsh glare of politics and conflict, allowed her to reconnect with the inner reservoir of strength and hope that had carried her through the most tumultuous chapters of her life. The steady rhythm of her breathing and the soft rustle of leaves became a meditation in themselves, a silent dialogue between her heart and the land, echoing with the promise of eventual renewal. As the days turned slowly into weeks, and the kingdom began its soft, uncertain awakening, Daenerys embraced a new vision, not merely one of reclamation and revenge, but of a peaceful reordering of what was once believed lost. With every gentle act of kindness, every soft-spoken word of encouragement, she wove strands of empathy into the lives of those who had long been silenced. In this grand yet intimate endeavor, the Dragon Queen demonstrated that even amid the ruins of shattered pride, there can emerge a resonance of unity that soothes and renews the spirit of an entire people. Night after night, beneath an expansive tapestry of glittering stars, she would whisper promises to the universe, a vow that every soul burdened by grief would one day find solace. It was in these tender confessions, made to the gentle witness of the cosmos, that Daenerys reaffirmed her own quiet resolve. The sweet cadence of her voice, mingled with the soft nocturne of nature, spread across the land like a healing balm, promising that no matter how dark the night, the light of redemption would always find its way through. In the dim hours before dawn, when the world feels suspended between memory and hope, Daenerys embraced the stillness of a new beginning. Here, in these whispered moments of transition, the Dragon Queen let the gentle glow of her inner fire soothe even the most turbulent parts of her soul. Her heart, once marred by the stark impetuosity of fury, now beat in a quiet rhythm that echoed the natural cadence of life, enduring, patient, and full of promise. It was during these contemplative hours that she fully understood the delicate art of emotional control. Rather than suppressing her passions, she had learned to welcome them as old friends. The fierce intensity that had once threatened to engulf her was now transformed into a warm luminescence, a light that could guide her people through uncertainty without inciting further division. In calm meditation, she envisioned her past struggles as valuable lessons, each one a gentle reminder that every wound, no matter how deep, could eventually mend under the tender care of time and compassion. Her transformation was reflected in every tender detail of her new realm. In the revitalized citadels, where once echoing halls had reverberated with despair, laughter, and soft music, now interwove with stories of lost legends and newfound hopes. The grassroots of this transformed society were built not on the decrees of tyrants, but on the quiet acts of solidarity among neighbors. Here, in hushed conversations under fragrant canopies, and in the soft flicker of candlelight in rebuilt dwellings, Daenerys inspired a culture that saw healing as the highest form of rebellion. Visitors and dignitaries who came to partake in this rebirth found in her presence a serene assurance in every subtle gesture, a gentle nod, a kind, measured tone. There lay an invitation to embrace forgiveness and sow the seeds of unity. The Dragon Queen's legacy, once written in the fierce language of conquest and fire, had now transformed into a gentle chronicle of renewal, a story told in the quiet moments of human connection. And as the people learned to trust the soft cadence of her leadership, a fragile harmony began to spread across the lands, mending old fractures with the tender touch of understanding. With each passing day, Daenerys' influence rippled outward like the delicate rings in a calm pond. The soft murmur of hope that she kindled in the hearts of the weary grew into a steady chorus that could defy even the harshest echoes of despair. As the kingdom's wounds gradually healed, the Dragon Queen found that the most profound victories were not those marked on battlefields, but those recorded in the silent triumphs of everyday life. A freed family reunited, a long-forgotten vow rekindled, or even the simple joy of a child's laughter, standing on a quiet hillside as the sun's first gentle rays unfolded across the sky. Daenerys allowed herself a rare moment of unguarded peace. In that serene tableau, the weight of her destiny transformed into a soft caress upon her soul. a reminder that her life's purpose was not to wield power recklessly, but to nurture a legacy of compassion that would outlive even the fiercest storms. The quiet assurance of a new day, bathed in hopeful light, was a promise that every end was but the soft prelude to a gentle beginning. Over time, as the shadows of the old world receded into memory, the Dragon Queen's kingdom began to speak its own quiet language, a language of resilience, forgiveness, and the tacit understanding that true transformation is a lifelong, gentle evolution. Daenerys' journey taught her that the art of leadership was not simply in the grand gestures or the fiery radiance of monumental victories, but in the silent celebration of every tender moment that contributed to the well-being of her people. And so, with each whisper of the wind, each soft murmur in the night, the legacy of the Dragon Queen continued to grow, a soothing, eternal promise that the flame of hope could illuminate even the darkest of paths. Now, dear listener, as you nestle into the comforting embrace of twilight, allow your thoughts to drift among these gentle images, a realm where the tale of Daenerys Targaryen morphs into a delicate lullaby of healing and transformation. Envision the quiet steps of her journey, the soft glow of reawakened hopes, and the enduring promise that every spark of passion, however fierce, may be tempered with the balm of compassion. Let this story be a silent murmur to your heart, a reminder that even in worlds shadowed by ancient strife, the gentle art of self-forgiveness and the subtle courage nurtured in quiet moments can inspire a tomorrow filled with light. Each softly spoken word, every serene pause in this chronicle, invites you to close your eyes and surrender to sweet repose. The promise that even the fiercest flame eventually mellows into a peaceful, protective glow. May your dreams be woven with the tender threads of hope, and your spirit find solace in the quiet journey of renewal. Rest and let the soft cadence of this long, enchanted tale lull you into a state of calm reflection. In every heartbeat, in every silent whisper of the night, may you find comfort in the gentle legacy of a Dragon Queen who taught the world that compassion is the truest form of power, and that even from the ashes of despair, a luminous future can quietly emerge. In the silent pause of twilight, where memories and dreams merge with the soft glow of a fading day, Daenerys Targaryen, once a fierce flame in a tumultuous world, now stands as a gentle beacon of renewal. In the cool, embracing dusk, the fiery scars of her past have softened, transmuted by time and compassion into a tender light that illuminates a path toward quiet rebirth. The echoes of long-faded battles no longer rend the air with anguish. Instead, each whisper of history now offers a lullaby of hope, reminding her that even amid the darkest night, the promise of dawn endures. As the weight of sorrow transforms into serene wisdom, Daenerys gazes out over lands where nature now reclaims what was once shattered by strife. In valleys where the remnants of conflict lie intermingled with wildflowers and gentle streams, each blossom and each murmuring current testifies to life's enduring capacity to heal. The soft patter of rain on ancient stone becomes a hymn of resilience, a quiet meditation in which every droplet sings of renewal. Standing at the threshold of a reawakened era, Daenerys feels not the burden of her tumultuous past, but the soothing, persistent pulse of a future grounded in compassion. Her journey has taught her that true leadership is nurtured in the quiet interplay between strength and tenderness. In low-lit gatherings under starlight, where the humble and the hopeful share whispered aspirations, she speaks in measured tones that inspire trust rather than command fear. The voices of those she has freed, once marked by despair, now rise in gentle choruses as communities mend and hearts learn to beat as one. Each smile shared in midnight conversations, every soft word of comfort offered in the stillness of early hours, is a note in the ongoing lullaby of a realm reborn. Even the dragons, those mighty creatures born of fire and fate, now glide across the night sky with a majestic serenity, no longer harbingers of destruction. Their graceful wing beats and quiet roars echo the soft rhythm of change, the promise that, like them, even the fieriest soul can find a place of tranquil balance. In the reflective depths of her eyes, the dragon's flickering flames transform from wild, untamed fire to a steady, guiding glow, a reminder that compassion and strength, far from being opposites, can harmonize to herald a new dawn. In the vast tapestry of passing days and silent, thoughtful nights, time reveals its gentle narrative, a story told through the clamor of epic clashes, but in the soft interludes of introspection and repose. Daenerys learns that every moment, no matter how tumultuous its passage, holds within it the seed of transformation. Slowly, the once searing anguish of loss is tempered by the healing waters of acceptance, each tear shed becoming a symbol of rebirth, rather than bitter regret. Within the calm hours before the birth of a new day, Daenerys wanders among ancient ruins and quiet meadows, each step measured like the beat of a soft drum. These silent pilgrimages, undertaken in the reflective solitude of dawn, reveal that true strength lies in acknowledging life's delicate dualities. The brightness of hope emerges not in spite of the scars of yesteryear, but because they have been transformed into gentle reminders of resilience. In this slow, unfolding process, every hard-fought victory over despair enriches her soul, deepening her understanding of the tender art of healing. Amid the stillness of her renewed kingdom, the soft-spoken words of rekindled trust and long-forgotten camaraderie echo like a timeless chant. Here, in the quiet eulogy of time, the legacy of a life wrought with both pain and passion melds into a soothing refrain, a harmonious meditation on what it means to truly live, to forgive, and to rise again with the promise of love. Each act of kindness, however small, drapes the hearts of her people in a comforting cloak of unity. Each gentle smile shared beneath the glow of the moon nurtures a beacon of hope that burns steady and true. Now, as the soft blanket of night descends and the heavens are adorned with twinkling stars, the tale of Daenerys Targaryen whispers on, a delicate lullaby meant to cradle your thoughts and soothe your spirit. Her life, a journey that has witnessed the fury of flame and the quiet grace of transformation, becomes a timeless reminder that even the most turbulent souls can find solace in forgiveness, and that every shattered past holds the potential for a serene, new beginning. As you lie down and prepare to drift off, close your eyes and let the soft cadence of this story embrace you. Imagine the gentle murmur of a once feared dragon, now guiding the weary traveler through a midnight garden of renewal. Allow the tender hues of her story, a tapestry interwoven with echoes of ancient fire, bittersweet losses, and ultimately the gentle blossoming of hope to enfold you in warmth and quiet assurance. May these words be the gentle key that unlocks the doorway to your dreams, where worries melt like morning dew, and your heart is cradled in the soft light of compassion and peace. With each deep, rhythmic breath, let the enduring legacy of the Dragon Queen remind you that every end cradles the potential for a luminous, gentle dawn. Even in the quiet of night, her spirit offers a warm, guiding glow, a soft testament to the healing power of resilience and the beauty of starting anew. Now, dear listener, as the boundaries between the waking world and your inner sanctuary blur, rest assured that the gentle legacy of Daenerys lives on, not in the blaze of conquering fire, but in the soft glow of renewal and the serene promise that hope, once kindled, never truly fades. May your dreams be filled with the softness of evening mists, the gentle warmth of cherished memories, and the quiet strength to awaken to a world reborn in compassion. Sleep well, and may the whispering winds of night carry you into a peaceful, restorative slumber, where every heartbeat echoes with the promise of a new, gentle beginning.